Hi, welcome to the show. We are here again with a good friend of mine, and second time on the podcast?
Second time.
Which we have this little thing. So Thom Hill's here from Iron and Resin. So Thom, I recently had to endure being a fashion model for you. So you have to endure being a podcast guest for me.
We all got to take one for the team.
That's right.
That's part of the deal.
So Thom's a good friend of mine, someone I look up to, and just we talk all the time. So it's like I wanted to have Thom be kind of a regular presence on this show. We see things, we have a lot of things in common, and Thom's got a ton of experience and a ton of fun stories. So let's flash back just really quick. Podcast, I don't even know what number it was. It was probably 2019.
Yeah, I think so.
We were sitting in the backyard of Iron Resin, dreaming about all kinds of stuff, kind of who knew what 2020 would bring at that time.
That's
but
right.
2020 came, and Iron Resin's been on a journey. You've been on a journey. So kind of take us through a little bit of that and kind of where you're at. And then recently Iron Resin kind of officially relaunched.
Yeah.
And very exciting. And I think what's so impressive to me is like when, especially for an entrepreneur, you're always problem solving, always trying to keep moving forward. And so I think you have a lot of great things to share. So catch us up on where you've been, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think for a lot of people who own a business, the last couple of years have probably been an adventure, to say the least. We're no exception to that. But I think 2019, when we did that last podcast, we had some things on the horizon with the business that we'd been working on for a while. One was our Ventura store. We had planned on, we'd already built a cafe out of these recycled shipping containers, which has been a fun project. Those builds are actually done. And at the same time, we knew we were going to have to shut down our store for a period of time because it's a 100-and-some-year-old building and it's all unreinforced masonry that they're going to have to do a pretty major earthquake retrofit in, being California. So we didn't really want to shut down, but we didn't really have a choice. So the project had to get done. So we tried to pick some, a period of time when, it'd be least impactful to our business. And it just so happened, we sold off a bunch of our inventory, kind of preparation for being shut down for a little while in the physical brick and mortar store.
Yep.
And then moved everything out of the store. And just a few days later, COVID hit.
Wow.
And we weren't having to pay rent. And we'd gotten rid of a lot of our overhead. And so it ended up being kind of an opportunity for us to just kind of hit the reset button for a little bit. And it had been something that had been on my mind for a while.
Because Thom, you've been cranking as an entrepreneur with like Iron Resin was not your only enterprise.
That's right.
So you had a lot of things on your plate, and I want the people that are listening that have businesses or are entrepreneurial at heart to that you can get spooled up, man, and you just have 50 things going on and just spinning. And so this kind of time for reset comes with Iron and Resin specifically. But did you kind of capitalize on that even more personally and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So when that all happened, business-wise, we had another business that I had started right out of college that I'd been building for 25 years. Mm-hmm. Iron and Resin was another business. We had another retail business in Hawaii. We had just a bunch of stuff going on, and it was just. And I'm one of those people. I don't know about the term serial entrepreneur, but I love starting things. I love the excitement of sort of those early years and, the challenge of building something from nothing. And that's, I have sort of a history of starting lots of projects like that. And before you know, you have too many things going on. And that was the case with me. And we had multiple product lines. We had multiple different businesses operating autonomously. But everything was sort of commingled at the same time from a business structure standpoint. And that ended up being a problem, as Iron and Resin grew, and Iron and Resin started as just like my own little personal passion project, and it was just sort of a side hustle that I was doing just for creative expression more than anything. And it was just stuff that I was really into, and it just kind of grew out of control very quickly. And, you find yourself on a particular track and you have all this momentum, and pretty soon you're just sort of swept up in the direction the business happened to go organically.
Yeah, that's right.
Very quickly you can kind of get in a situation where you're all of a sudden dealing with issues like we were dealing with, whether it was like personnel issues or culture issues or financial issues or whatever, but you're so far down that track, you're like, okay, how do I shift gears right now? Because like we have all this momentum pushing us this direction, and I'm committed to these retail locations and this distribution channel and these people that I care about and as employees, and
not even just in America. You like Iron Resin is an international brand. Which is
we have distributors, in multiple continents, and it was just like, it was a lot. And, to cap it all off, we weren't making money, I had built sort of, I don't know if, you remember the early .com days where it was like, nobody cared if you were making money or not. It was just about grow the top line as fast as you can and build value. And anyway, I would kind of look at where we were and just, it almost felt like we were sort of trapped in that direction. I was trapped. And so when COVID hit and we had to shut the store down, and I'm like, you know what, this is the perfect opportunity for us to hit the reset button right now. And some things were forced, like, and in hindsight, it ended up being a blessing that it happened. At the time, it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do kind of thing. But it allowed me to, I had to let all our employees go, which was tough. Shut everything down. We moved locations. We shut down our other retail stores. And it was just a major life shift. And then I exited my other business. And so I found myself with, sort of time to reflect and look at all the things I'd done from a business building standpoint, and the things that I would have done differently. It's like, okay, maybe I have a chance to kind of start over and do it right, and take all those hard learned lessons and apply them to kind of a new structure for the business. And so in the end, that's what I did. I, took a couple months off and just sort of contemplated, like, what do we want this business to look like? How will it be different than the last time? And
Thom, was that like, for a guy that just is spinning all the time, was that kind of like an interesting experience, like to just take a deep breath, even though it was challenging? I'm sure.
Well, it was scary because, all of a sudden it's like, I have no income, and I've only ever worked for myself pretty much my entire adult life. So the thought of going to work for somebody freaks me out,
Same.
Like I think I consider myself to be pretty unemployable, just because I'm like, I don't like being told what to do. I don't want to build someone else's business is the bottom line. If I'm going to do it and I'm going to work really hard, I want to do it for myself. So I was freaked out. I was going to have to get a job, and so that's always been a big motivator for me, is, to keep pushing when everyone else would probably turn back, is because I'm scared to death to work for somebody else. I don't ever want to do that if I can help it. So, so I looked at, okay, what are the options I have on the table right now in terms of getting this business going? And fortunately, we have we had a great partnership with our distributor in Europe that we've had for a number of years. And we formed a new joint venture. And so we're going back to building the brand internationally again, but we're doing it, just applying all the hard learned lessons we had. It's a totally different structure now. And we're profitable from day one, and it's
way leaner,
super lean. And it's just getting back to really not being we're very uncompromising in terms of what we're building.
Yep.
Part of, when I talk about sort of momentum pushing us down this path before, I feel like we were really answering to too many people in terms of like product direction and things like that. We had international distributors that needed a certain product or products or type of product. We had wholesale customers that needed a certain type of product at a certain price point. We had our retail customers.
Right.
And we were just trying to be too many things to too many people. And I found myself kind of compromising on things that, were vastly different than where we started as a brand and the reason we started as a brand,
that's important.
Yeah. So all this gave me a chance to reset, to get back to building, only the types of product that we love, very, very selfishly,
that's
it's like,
awesome though.
I don't really care what, we're not going to be all things to all people,
right. Yep.
We're not gonna, somebody gave me a good piece of advice a long time ago. And again, it was at a time where I was just trying to do too many things with my business. And there's like, son, you need to shoot with a rifle, not a shotgun, and that simple piece of advice, has stuck with me. And
cool.
So we're back to shooting with a rifle and,
having fun again,
which the reason I've been in business for myself all these years is to have the lifestyle and the discretionary time to do things, to be inspired, to travel and, to hit the road and just do a lot of fun stuff. And it just keeps you inspired. You can't create from nothingness. You have to have experiences in life. So, so this, last couple of years business wise were tough. It was just pushing nose to the grindstone. I didn't feel like I was having fun anymore.
Yep.
And
that's terrible.
Yeah. And so
for like a motivated entrepreneur, and the people, it's hard to relate to that. I'm sure everyone can relate to some degree, whether it's finishing a project, but if you lose passion and you're not having fun, it just becomes a grind. And then it starts tearing your soul up.
Yeah.
And your relationships suffer. It's really hard. And not too many people really can understand that burden from an entrepreneur standpoint. It's
a lonely place, it's nobody feels your pain like you do. Your family, your best friends don't even really know what you're going through. I mean, there's the stress of going to bed, waking up, wondering if you're going to be able to make payroll tomorrow, just these little things that most people who aren't entrepreneurs don't and never will understand. Without that, I would rather, I think about this a lot because, if you are an entrepreneur, you go through really stressful times but you go through amazing times.
That's right.
That you would never have if,
that's right.
And so to me, it's like, it's same as my philosophy on life. It's like, you got to go through the valleys to appreciate the peaks.
Yep.
And so the deeper the valley, the higher the peaks.
That's right.
In my experience. So I think it's it's a price you pay as an entrepreneur, but it's worth it.
That's killer.
So,
and like the business has grown, so has your collection of Dodges. So last time we talked, I think you had the red 62 Dodge Crew Cab, which is the sickest truck ever. You still have it.
Still have that.
Good on you. So and then you had a first gen.
Yeah, still have that.
And then you have a second. What's the gas engine 5?
Yeah, we have a 89, just half ton Dodge. That was like our old kind of ranch truck. And then we needed the first gen was kind of struggling to tow. Recently we got another boat, and it's probably 10 to 12,000 pounds, I would say.
And hauling a 10 to 12,000 pound boat out of a boat ramp is a deal.
Yeah, when it's low tide and the boat ramp's a little slippery, it's sometimes tough to pull that boat out of the water. I mean, it would do it, but it was a struggle. And you'd be cruising home on the highway at like 45 miles an hour, and it was a strain for that truck. So we wanted a better tow vehicle, so we got a 06 1-ton Dodge, and I mean, I love Cummins. It's just,
is that kind of like, what is the allure to? Have you been a lifelong Dodge guy?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the?
I mean,
what do you love
trucks
about them?
Well, I mean, it's not so much Dodge as it is Cummins.
Okay.
Killer. It's just the best diesel motor there is.
That's
awesome,
my
opinion. And I mean, the first gen we have has 400,000 miles on it. It's been a daily driver for us for years. And, we did have to put a new transmission in it, which, 400,000 miles,
right.
Okay.
But the motor's still going strong. That's insane, man.
Those motors, they call them the million-mile motor. They just keep going. They're bulletproof. So we still have that, and then we have the newer Dodge we got to tow with. So
killer.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're downsizing now. We're very much a Dodge family, though.
Okay. So what you said earlier. So inspiration for like your clothing line comes out of this lifestyle that you live, and that's what's been fun getting to know you. Is like you're definitely not like, don't take this the wrong way, like not a poser. Like Thom lives and breathes it. Like whether it's like going out to the islands, now you got this boat, spear fishing, getting the bikes out, going, like Thom and I have had the wonderful experience to go surfing a number of times. What's that called? Hand planing?
Yeah.
Like bodyboarding, just anything.
Surfing, yeah.
All that stuff. So all that stuff is the inspiration for Iron and Resin. So how important, even in a busy guy's life with a lot going on, is like a rhythm of adventure, and maybe just even an encouragement to get people who are just grinding out life in an office. How important is some adventure?
Well, it's huge in my opinion. I mean, I think, especially if you're in a position like mine where you have to be creative and continue to kind of push things forward in terms of, product development and just ideation and things like that. Mm-hmm. You have to fill the well back up. And, to me, I get that, from traveling and adventuring and, going on motorcycle trips or, taking the horses in the backcountry or, out the islands surfing or diving or whatever. Like those are my, and the longer the trip, the better.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
It's just like, you just gotta keep those batteries charged up and otherwise, like I said, you can't create from nothing, know? So, and for us as a brand, authenticity is very important. So, the guys here, we all get out, ride and surf together. And, We'll do trips, and it's very much a lifestyle business.
Yep.
It's not just a business built around a lifestyle. It's the life we live,
That's right.
in work and in play. So,
And even a lot of like the imagery or photography, like the kind of marketing that comes out of Iron and Resin is real trips. Like, is going surfing, putting the products to the test, and having those experiences.
Yeah. I mean, we've never had or could afford models, it's like, it's like we have, it's us and our friends going out and, having these experiences, doing these trips, and, photos that we get out of it in terms of content are very organic, and nothing's staged. Nothing's like, it's just somebody has a camera and records whatever we're doing. And hopefully it comes across as authentic but we're having fun and kind of doing our thing. So, at the end of the day, it's we want all that to come across, but and hopefully people are, inspired to go out and kind of explore what's in their backyard,
right.
Whether you're in California or Iowa. I mean, it's just like, there's a big world out there to go have fun in.
But let's be honest, there's certain states that are endowed with more opportunities than others. And one thing about California, because I used to live in California, is you have like the desert, the redwoods, the ocean.
Oh yeah.
Like the mountains. Like there's so much geography in California that a lot of Californians never leave. Like you don't really need to. But you recently took a little adventure to Wyoming and South Dakota. Kind of give me some updates. What'd you think about that?
Yeah. So we love road trips, and as we have a Sprinter van. We didn't take it on this trip, but generally that's kind of our mode of transportation. We can live out of that thing for weeks at a time, and have many times, so that's usually how we go, and we're very incognito, and we can kind of just post up anywhere in that thing. That. And but this trip, we actually, because flights right now are just dirt cheap, so we kind of picked a place on the map, and like Laura and I had never been to east, sort of Wyoming, east of the Rockies so much. Like been to Jackson, to Tetons a number of times, and north of there up towards Montana, but I'd never driven across Wyoming to the east. And Laura's brother lives in South Dakota in the Black Hills, and I'd never been to South Dakota. And quite frankly, it wasn't even really on my radar ever. But we decided to take a trip. We flew into Jackson Hole, and boogied out of there as fast as we could. And then we rented a little log cabin that we found on Airbnb up near the Montana border, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And
so that was in Wyoming.
That was in Wyoming.
Okay.
And we just, like Laura's just like me. We both sort of have the same philosophy about traveling. Like we don't like making any reservations anywhere. We don't like having any
that's killer
agenda. We just kind of go where the wind blows us, and we have a starting point and maybe an ending point, and maybe that's it. In between, whatever happens. And so this trip was no different. We landed in Park City. We didn't have an agenda or reservations anywhere. Luckily, Laura had rented a car because we got the last SUV with all-wheel drive they had. So that saved us because we were in a lot of snow. But we found this cabin just kind of by chance on Airbnb, and we were like, oh, it's close enough to Yellowstone. We'll get, we'll rent some snowmobiles and ride through the park and do all these things. We got to this cabin. We didn't leave for 5 days.
That's amazing.
It was right on the Clark's Fork of the Yellowstone River. So hiking, fly fishing,
But it was freezing, so you guys literally just hunkered down and kind of little daily walks out in the snow, probably.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I mean, had a big fireplace and wood stove and super cozy. We had loaded up on groceries. The closest grocery store is probably an hour and a half away. So we didn't have to go anywhere.
That's killer.
So it was really nice for me because I have a hard time slowing down, you know? So it was, you know, I guess I don't really think about how important it is to slow down every once in a while, because that reset my whole kind of, you know, kind of creative mindset. And it was just a really nice time, you know, just
That's
the two
cool,
of us.
dude.
Yeah.
And how many days did it take you to kind of start resetting, to start like letting go, like where I'm in the moment right now?
Oh,
It's
it was
nice.
the first night. I go,
Oh, really?
we got there, and I looked at Laura and I said, I'm not going anywhere. Like the whole time we're here, like I'm not, all the stuff we talked about doing, like I'm staying right here. You can go do it.
That's great.
This is so awesome. So we just ended up staying there, and then we drove across Wyoming, kind of through the Badlands, and some really pretty areas, kind of explored. Like there's some wild horse preserves that we cruised through, trying to find just interesting things to see and do. And not many cars on the road at all anywhere. And then we cruised into the Black Hills, which again, I'd never been to South Dakota, and I was blown away by how really beautiful it is there in terms of
it's magic, man.
Yeah,
I love it.
Just the driving and the way the roads are engineered around the mountains there. It's just so, you know, it's so cool. Laura's brother lives in a beautiful area, and so we were there for another 5 or 6 days, I think, and really just kind of explored around the Black Hills. Everything was closed. All the businesses are closed, stores and restaurants. And it was nice being not around a lot of tourists. So obviously I think that place is a different environment in the summer, but in the winter, highly recommend cruising through there in the winter.
And what you said earlier is right. I don't think, especially in the winter, a place like that is on a lot of people's radar.
Yeah.
So that's the word of the day, man.
Yeah, we were out in the snow all day, every day, and like we'd go to a gas station or something like that, and people would look at us like, "Well, you're not from South Dakota," because no one's outside right now. And yeah, we were hiking around in the snow, and we had a great time. It was there were days we didn't see another car on the road anywhere. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
So what's next on the travel agenda? We have a fun collaboration coming up. Like we've done 3. This will be our 3rd.
This will be the 3rd one.
And this one's the most unique in that we're taking kind of an original powered SS2 cologne, which is like patina. It's kind of rugged, and I think it's going to be super fun. And so to have like this, it's not thrash, but it's like a really rugged original paint truck with a rad interior.
Yeah, it's not something you're gonna be paranoid about, like scratching on.
No, not at all. We're gonna go mob it.
Yeah.
And then for the first time, we are partnering on some apparel and some materials. So let's tell us a little bit about what we got on the horizon.
Yeah, so I think we're kind of elevating our collaboration this time around a little bit more. And what I've loved about the past collaborations we've done is, I always drool over the trucks you guys build, and to have to be able to at least fantasize about, okay, if I could build my dream truck, and my dream truck could do X, Y, and Z, what would it look like and what would it be able to do? And, like we sort of visualized that and made it happen. It was really cool. We had these trucks that were, you could had the pop-up tent, or, had the motorcycle on the back, had the surfboard rack, had, kind of checked all our boxes for us. And still had sort of the vintage aesthetic that we love. So, This one we're kind of expanding the collaboration, so we'll include some things that, iron and resin is very much like, I think we have a similar brand ethos in that you guys build things that are very purpose built. Mm-hmm. We're the same way. I mean, we're, everything we create, has to serve some purpose in our lives.
Yep.
It's not some, it's not some gratuitous piece of clothing that is just a fashion piece or something. So, and we love kind of a vintage heritage aesthetic as well. So I think we come from very similar places in the way we approach design and product. And so we're kind of expanding into a few other things. We'll do we're doing like a wax canvas mechanics jacket.
Killer. I'm so stoked about this. You guys. Yeah.
And then we're doing a couple pieces out of, we've been doing a lot with bison or buffalo hide lately. So we're doing a wax canvas and bison hide tool roll and a buffalo hide shop apron.
Yeah,
which,
killer.
You can use welding, you can use in front of your barbecue.
So tough. That's right. And what's awesome, I'm really excited about that. We're not just like getting close to the materials that are the actual jacket's made out of and the actual apron and tool roll. We're actually getting the material.
That's right.
And so that's really exciting to me that the interior of the truck is going to feel and just be just as rugged as the clothes.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, and what I'm kind of interested to see is like this truck is like a Baja SS2. So it has no doors.
Yep.
But it has these soft doors that are useless.
Yeah.
But really no top. And so like to see how this stuff holds up to like dust and dirt and just the environment, I'm actually pretty stoked to see that.
Yeah. I mean, so, and then, the best part of all this is putting it all to the test. And I think right now we're talking about doing a little Baja run.
Yes.
So, Sean, I don't think you've been to Baja.
No, but I've been dreaming, like as I've said on the podcast. So I've taken possession of the Sherman Balch Bayshore International, one of 4 IH kind of official race trucks that ran and won the Baja 1000 1982 Class 3. So I've just been like really indulging my mind into Baja and just the mystique, what it is, the race history. And so I'm really excited for this project and for Thom to be kind of my Sherpa into Baja, because you've taken a ton of trips. And I said on the last episode, y'all are going to have to bear with me as I kind of indulge this Baja fantasy. And ultimately, like, I want to run the Nora 1000 so funny story, just real time. I just got a message on Instagram from this guy, Slow Baja, who's like, we need more vintage trucks. Like, we need new Legends Scouts. So this April, would you enter a truck in the Nora? And so I feel like that's divine destiny calling me to go, like, let's do it. So we might take the Iron and Resin SS2 clone on the Nora, which is 1,000 miles through Baja over 4 days. So that'll be fun, but it is not the race truck. The race truck I have is in probably 500 pieces. Yeah. Like, there's nothing, it's unbuilt.
Yeah.
So as I'm building that, I'll get my feet wet, and then we'll run probably 2022 Nora in the race truck, get the original crew of builders. It's been a very exciting process. So get us all excited for Baja, man. What do you love about it? What's unique about it?
Oh, man.
Funny story.
I didn't grow up on the West Coast. I grew up on the East Coast in North Carolina, and, was surf obsessed as a kid. And just, I came out here to go to college and surf. And so the first time I went to Baja, I was in college, and I didn't know, what to expect. Had no idea. I didn't even, I'd never even been in California before I moved out here. So, but instantly I couldn't get enough of Baja after that first trip. And we didn't go very far. I think we only went to
it wasn't in your Suburban, was it?
No, I had, so I had an old 79 Westfalia.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, did many Baja trips.
Cool.
And to this day, it's probably still the best vehicle I
Really?
ever took to Baja. I mean, it just could go anywhere. And but anyway, so that trip sort of set me on a path of just going back over and over again. And it's Baja is kind of a state of mind you take back with you. It's very much like,
that's powerful.
You know, if you spend time in Hawaii or, you know, it's, you know, there's no cell service. Once you get, you know, you blow through the border towns, you get 4 or 5 hours south the border.
It's like Ensenada is like the border. Is that kind of?
Ensenada is considered still a border town. It's
Okay.
like an hour, you know, from the border,
Okay.
California border. But it's, but you just, you know, you want to get into the real Baja as soon as possible. And you really got to travel at least 4 or 5 hours south to kind of get into that.
Okay.
And, but once you're cruising down, you know, it's like you can go anywhere, do anything. It's sort of like the Wild West, you know, it really is. And you meet amazing people. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been either stuck somewhere or needed some sort of assistance. Usually it's because of a stuck vehicle or something like that. And, you know, you'll be headed towards some surf spot that's remote, way out on the coast somewhere, and you'll be stuck on some muddy road and you know, there's no traffic, but then some guy will come along who's like a fisherman and he's got his pong out there and they'll stop whatever they're doing and whatever it takes, a day or two, help you, you know, get your truck out or bring you gas or whatever.
Dude, so
it's
cool.
It's just kind of you know, once you get into that part of Baja, it's pretty special and it's beautiful.
Yeah, and so you started in the Westphalia, the Vanagon, and then at some point you started bringing bikes down. Was that pretty early also?
Yeah, so I didn't always have a way to carry bikes down there. When I got like a truck that when I was a little bit older, we'd go down there on surf trips and I'd always take a motorcycle because you know, you're wherever you end up, you're on, you know, there's just desert all around you. And so, and some of the places you can get to, there's even more remote surf breaks that you can access if you have a motorcycle or you have a quad. But you can't get your truck there.
And you've crossed it like across the peninsula, right? Like so to the Sea of Cortez side.
Yeah.
And is different environments, kind of different vibes?
Yeah. So it is very different. As it's a different climate. It's hotter.
Okay.
It's,
interesting.
There's amazing fishing on both coasts. And as far as wildlife goes and ocean wildlife, once you get down kind of deep into Baja and the Gulf side, there's tons of stuff to see and do, you know. And
is it just like, I'm a noob. So I know in like America, we have our map apps and all these like maps that you can get, but like, do you just see a path in the desert and go like, I'm just going to charge down there?
Yeah. Well, back then nothing was digital.
Yeah.
So, and, there are dirt roads unmarked everywhere. So a lot of it is just reading, you know, or advice or, you know, somebody says, okay, go past this taco stand on the corner and go 3/4 of a mile past that. You'll see a dirt road, you know, take that. And then you'll come to a fork 2.3 miles down that road and then make a left. And it's just
and all of this is like the actual Baja race, weaves through.
Yeah.
Like you could be on a section of, cause the Baja 1000 moves all like different paths, right? Like different tracks and stuff.
Yeah. There's sections that run along the beach. There's sections that run above the beach. There's sections that run through the mountains.
Wow.
There's sections that, and all of it's off road.
Yeah.
But,
it's like true adventure, dude. That kind of was one of the pieces of magic about it. It's like, it's.
Yeah. And the guys that race it regularly, and they're serious guys that race it, they pre-run it. So they know the course, they know the route, they know all the, because there's tons of hazards.
Yes.
Especially when you're going around the clock day and night.
And I'm not even talking about the rate, just Baja itself, even recreationally.
Oh, yeah.
Is like true adventure.
Yeah. You're on your own.
Because you don't know, like, you might have a language barrier. You don't know the local customs, or like, don't go on this land, or go, like, these people are friendly, these people are watch out for.
You just have to, and it's kind of the way you should be anyway, in my opinion.
I love it.
You need to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And don't expect anyone to bail you out. You need to have all the preparations necessary to get you out of pretty much any jam you can think up, whether it's mechanical or something else.
Yeah.
You just have to go down there with that mindset that you're on your own.
And the taco stands are good, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what I've heard. Everyone I've talked to.
Yeah. Yeah. But once you're down a little further, you're mostly you're not so much eating at taco stands, you're bartering with the local fishermen. You'll get some fresh lobster or fish or whatever they bring in for the day.
That's cool, man.
I always brought like a bunch of t-shirts with me and stuff like that to hand out and to guys. And you always find people to trade with. What's
your most epic Baja memory? And just again to set some context, so we got the van again. You've ridden motorcycles, right? Like from home base all the way down. Yeah. Pickup trucks, vans.
Sailboat. I sailed.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I sailed down there after college. I lived on a sailboat in Santa Barbara, and I sailed.
Dude, that's killer, man. Wow. Yeah. And you rode a Ural, like a sidecar Russian motorcycle.
Yeah.
Which I watched. Thom was showing me a video of just bombing in that thing, and it doesn't have great suspension.
No, actually, I wasn't in it, but a couple friends were riding, and we were right along they were running the Baja 500 at the time.
Oh,
so
man.
We were just like ripping along sections of the course, and they flipped it. They just hit like a big divot in the road and just rolled it like end over end, and everyone was fine. But that's a testament to how overbuilt those things are. Tanks. Yeah. They're not fun to drive long distance, but if you ever roll one,
so you just flipped it back over.
Just rolled it back over and drove it away.
That's killer.
Yeah.
So what's an epic memory from Baja?
Oh. Man, I don't know.
Sailing's crazy. That's pretty epic.
Yeah, it was. I've done a couple sailing trips through Baja. One of them probably actually is my best memory is probably a trip I did with my grandfather not too long before he passed away, because I grew up sailing on the East Coast with him. And so we did a trip when we were, I think I was in my mid-20s. We did that trip, and he came out, and the two of us sailed all through Baja together and came back. It was
epic, man.
It was like a month-long trip. It was pretty cool. And he died not too long after that. So that's magical. A pretty special trip for me. Every trip's different. So some trips are, and it really depends on who you're with. So, some trips are just mayhem because you're down there with the kind of people that like mayhem, and, you're just like, and other trips are more mellow, and, but there's just so many cool zones to explore down there, and you can spend a lifetime and never hit it all.
That's how I feel about even just the California desert, man. Yeah. There's so many little ghost towns and all this great stuff. So I'm really stoked, man. And I'm fighting because, again, we're both busy guys. And Thom, like the other day, was like, dude, we might have to, I don't know if I could be gone for the time allowed for a proper Baja trip, so we might just go to the desert for this like collaborative shoot and just hanging out. And I'm like, please, buddy, take me to Baja.
Yeah,
So,
well, we're going.
I'm fighting for it.
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, you have to have that experience, and then it'll change your life.
Especially, bro, in a Baja edition Scout SS2 clone. It's not an original, but I have all the original. Everything on this truck is actual, legit 1970s international parts.
Yeah.
So I've worked hard. You've worked hard. We're going to put it all together. And I think the dream is, right, we're going to throw a bike in the back, rooftop tent, some surfboards.
Yep.
And you're going to give me the full experience, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna come back, and you're already gonna be planning your next trip. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, killer. Well, Tom's got to go up to the ranch to do. What is this, a work excursion today, or is this like? Because I know, like, when you have horses, you have to, like, we could get into another episode.
Yeah. Horses,
whole nother thing of mode of adventure, like really enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
The connection with the like, some of us have connections to our vehicles. We all do.
Yeah.
But man, talking about a horse, you probably have a special connection with those animals.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unlike the connection to, I mean, it's hard to make a connection to an inanimate object like a motorcycle or a Scout, but it's just another vehicle to get into the wilderness and the backcountry
in a whole different way. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm telling you guys. Thom is also going to be my Sherpa into spearfishing.
Yeah.
So I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, parting words from me. Check out Iron Resin stuff. Iron Resin, your products are amazing. I really appreciate. I've grown more and more to appreciate you as a designer, and like the little stuff, the little details, and the fit and the quality. So kudos to you guys for doing a good job on that.
Thank you.
And check that out, and then be looking for this collaboration stuff. I think we're doing. How many jackets we doing?
We'll do. I think we're doing building 50 limited edition jackets that are co-branded, and then we're doing the tool rolls, the aprons. There'll be like a fun graphic tee that will
kill it. Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
And then the Scout, of course, which you'll be seeing lots of photos of, the many adventures that's going to go on.
Yeah, and the Scout has got a really interesting future, so stay tuned because we're not selling it. Like all the previous Iron Resin collaboration trucks, we ended up selling.
Yeah.
But this one we're keeping in the family, so Thom will be using it. I'll be using it. It'll be getting a lot of fun testing. It's kind of like our, we've been doing a lot of tech tip videos on this truck. So like how to, we're doing a lot of product testing on it. So it's going to be all of our like collective pack mule adventure vehicle.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So Thom, thanks again for being on the show. Thanks for sharing your story. Very inspiring. And get out there, man. Get out. I'm not saying to you get out there. You get out there enough. The rest of us got to get out there and take some adventures and do some cool stuff.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.